A girl who loved to dance was living in a land far, far away. Her name was Snow White. On a sunny day, Snow White saw a little piggy while walking through the forest. This little piggy clearly looked like he had lost his way. So Snow White went to help him.
Huh?
Hello, little piggy.
Who are you? Stay away from me.
Don't be afraid, little piggy. I am Snow White. I'd never hurt you. Little by little, Piggy came out from behind the tree where he was hiding.
Oh, Snow White, can you help me?
Yes, of course I can. Tell me what happened first. How did you get here?
I went out this morning to play games, but I was so immersed in the game that I did not even realize that I was far from home. Then I was trying to go back to my house. A grasshopper jumped on me. It kept making noise right in my ears. I hurried and jumped up and down to get rid of him, and I kept running. Finally, the grasshopper jumped away, but I got stuck in the middle of the forest. I've been searching my way home for hours, but I guess I'm lost. My brothers must be worrying about me. Snow White, please help me.
Snow White said to the little piggy that she would help him find his home. And they set out together. Tell me, Piggy, what's near your house?
Well, there are huge trees.
There are huge trees all over this forest. Are there any more specific landmarks near your home?
There is a lake with lush green water near our house.
There are lots of green lakes in this forest. I wonder which one.
Oh, I don't know that.
Well, Piggy, don't worry. We'll search all the lakes one by one to find your home. Snow White and the little piggy walked through the forest for a while, and then arrived at a lake with lush green water. There were water lilies on the water and long reeds around it. But the little piggy was sorry to say that his house was not near this lake.
Oh, phooey. We will never find my home.
The piggy was very upset. So he picked up a stone from the ground and threw it into the lake. But suddenly, an enormous giant frog jumped on them from inside the lake. Snow White barely rescued the piggy, who was almost trampled under the huge frog.
Which of you threw the stone at my house?
Sorry, giant frog. We were just looking for this little piggy's home.
Then go to the lake with boats not too far away. Pigs love to roam there.
Snow White and the piggy immediately went to the edge of the lake that this giant frog had talked about. Let's look around, Piggy. Maybe we're close to your house. Although Piggy was sniffing around the lake for a while, he couldn't find his home. And he started to cry loudly.
My home. I want my home.
Hush, calm down, little piggy. Don't cry. The piggy was crying so loudly that a giant red fish jumped out of the lake onto the land and nearly squashed the piggy. Snow White barely saved him again.
What's all this noise? My afternoon nap is ruined.
When the piggy saw the angry fish before him, he hid behind the princess in fear. Sorry, dear fish. We're looking for this lovely piggy's lakeside home.
Then go to the lake with the dock. There's a mud pool there. Pigs love mud.
The red fish jumped back into the lake, and Snow White and the piggy walked towards the lake with Pierre. After a while, Snow White saw a few mud footprints on the ground.
Piggy, look at the footprints on the ground. These might be my brothers.
Snow White and the piggy started wandering around the lake with hope. And finally, they found the piggy's house.
Here's my home.
When they saw the little piggy back home, the pig brothers ran and hugged him.
We were very worried about you, little brother. Where'd you go? If you only knew what trouble a grasshopper brought on me. But I could never have found my way home without Snow White. Thank you, my princess.
From now on, you should learn the way home and know very well what's around, little piggy. Promise?
Pig's promise.
As the three piggies were reunited, they had fun all day in the mud in front of their house. They even brought Snow White in this fun. The little piggy was very lucky to meet Snow White that day. Because in this land, kind-hearted princesses always help animals and people.
Once upon a time, right on the edge of the forest, lived a golden-haired girl. This golden yellow-haired girl's name was Goldilocks. She had such amazing and admirable locks that everyone who saw her was mesmerized. But despite her sweetness, at times she could be a rather naughty little girl. Every time she stepped out to play, her mother would have to warn her to behave. "Darling, please stay in the backyard and don't go into the woods." Deep into the forest in a shack lived a bear family. A broad-shouldered papa bear, a medium-sized mama bear, and a baby bear. Mama Bear always woke up early to prepare oatmeal porridge for breakfast. One morning, Baby Bear woke up earlier than usual and wanted to eat his porridge. But it was too hot.
Mama, can we go out for a walk in the woods until our porridge cools down?
Mama, Papa and Baby Bear left their porridges on the table and went out for a walk. The same morning, Goldilocks was playing in the backyard while waiting for her mum to prepare breakfast. But she was so bored of playing in the same yard all the time, and she was very curious about the deep parts of the forest.
What would happen if I just went for a walk?
She looked around, seeing that no one was around. She began running into the forest. When she got tired, she stopped and looked around.
What a beautiful forest! Flowers, trees. Why didn't I come here before?
She began to walk deeper into the forest. In the meantime, walking around with his family, the baby bear saw a beehive on the branch of a tree.
Such a big beehive! I'm sure it is full of honey. Papa, can we eat some honey?
No, my boy, that belongs to the bees. It's their home.
We can't go in anybody's home and eat their food. It's not right.
You're right. I think I will have to wait until we go home for my breakfast.
Meanwhile, Goldilocks walked all by herself for such a long time. Finally, she got lost. She tried to turn back but could not make out the right way. She got really tired and hungry. She was almost in tears of her tiredness. She walked a little more, and finally she came to the end of the road. and she came across the house of the bear family in between the trees. She quietly approached the house, walked around it, but she could not see anyone. She knocked on the door, but nobody answered. Then she looked through the window. She saw 3 hot steamy plates on the table. She went back to the door again, and this time she knocked hard. The door opened. Goldilocks was overjoyed. She looked in and yelled, "Anybody home?" When there was no answer, she entered. She approached the table. On the table there were 3 bowls of porridge, 1 big, 1 medium-sized, and 1 small. Because she was so hungry, she wanted to eat the big one first. But the moment she put the spoon in her mouth, her mouth burned, because the porridge was still too hot. She immediately reached the medium bowl, but she did not want to eat this either, because it was too cold. It's too cold! Finally, she dipped her spoon into the smallest one. This porridge is neither cold nor too hot. It's exactly the way I want it. So she ate all the porridge in the smallest bowl. When she was done with her breakfast and felt full, she wanted to sit on one of the 3 chairs in front of the chimney to rest for a while. One of the 3 chairs was a big one, the other one medium, and the last one was a small one. First she tried to sit on the big one, but she couldn't even climb on it. She tried the medium one, but this one was very hard. It was very uncomfortable. Finally, she sat down on the smallest one. This one was very comfortable and exactly her size. But suddenly, the chair broke into pieces with a very loud noise. Goldilocks found herself on the floor and she did not know what to do. She walked through to the next door, and here there were 3 beds. A big, a medium-sized, and a small one. First she tried the big bed. This one was too big for her and also too hard. Second one was a little bigger than her size, but also too soft. So she lied down on the 3rd and smallest bed. This one was exactly her size, and it was very comfortable. So comfortable that Goldilocks fell asleep right away. Whilst Goldilocks was sleeping, the bear family came back home. Papa Bear had some wood with him that he collected for the chimney. Mama Bear had fresh berries, and Baby Bear just could not wait to have his porridge. When they arrived home, they went straight to the table. Papa Bear had a look at his bowl and was so angry.
Somebody tasted my porridge.
Mama Bear also looked at her bowl.
Somebody also tasted my porridge.
And when Baby Bear looked at his bowl, he began to cry.
That somebody also tasted my oatmeal porridge. Not only tasted it, also ate it all.
They got up and started to look around. Papa Bear noticed his chair in front of the chimney.
Somebody sat on my chair. Look, it's on a different spot.
And then it was Mama Bear's turn to complain.
Somebody also sat on my chair.
And just like before, the Baby Bear began to cry again.
Somebody also sat on my chair, but broke it too.
The bear family curiously went to the bedroom.
Somebody lied on my bed. Look how it's undone.
Somebody lied on mine too.
Somebody lied on my bed too. Then it's
Papa Bear walked next to Baby Bear's bed and saw that someone really was sleeping in his bed. Slowly lifted up the blankets, and they were really surprised to see a little girl sleeping in the bed.
What is a little girl doing in our house?
Tell this little girl to get out of my bed now!
Waking up to Baby Bear's crying, Goldilocks saw 3 bears in front of her and she ran out of the room in great fear. She went out of the house and started running without looking back. She got breathless from running, but she did not stop. And she didn't even know which way to go. Right at that moment, she saw her parents coming across from the forest. When she didn't end up going back home, they went out looking for her. Goldilocks was very happy to see her parents. She ran and hugged her mother.
Oh, Mummy!
We were so worried. Are you okay?
From now on, I will always listen to you. I will never leave without letting you know.
Goldilocks hugged her parents really tight. From that day on, as she promised, she always listened to her parents and did nothing without having their permission. She was a well-behaved and kind girl forever.
Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, an old farmer called his 2 sons to speak with them.
My sons, I am very old now. I want to see you build a happy home with your future wives.
The farmer went out to the wooded area in the garden with his sons. He asked his sons to each cut down a tree.
You will find the love of your life in the direction your tree falls. But do not forget to plant a sapling for every tree that you cut.
The boys first planted 2 saplings in the ground. The big brother Jack cut down the oldest tree he had ever seen, as his father had said, and the tree fell on the north walkway. Later, youngest brother Thomas cut down an old tree, but his tree fell in the middle of the forest road.
Looks like a deer in the forest is waiting for you to get married.
Thomas didn't let his brother's teasing bother him. Both brothers set out with great courage. After a while, Jack reached his true love, whom he found in the north. He gave her flowers and asked her to be his wife. But Thomas was wandering alone in the desolate forest. Eventually, he saw a small hut among the trees. He went in, but didn't see anyone.
There's no one here.
What do you mean there is no one? I'm here.
What?
A mouse was gently combing her mustache in a corner of the hut.
You look disappointed.
Okay, but you are a mouse, not a human. I came here to find the love of my life.
The little mouse told Thomas that she could be the love of his life. But Thomas didn't believe it.
Then I'm sorry. You won't find another girl in this forest. I'm the only one here to be your true love.
But how can I trust you?
I promise you, right now, with all my heart, I will be your princess.
Thomas was impressed by these words and felt that somehow this must be his true love. That evening, the 2 brothers told their farmer father about the people they had met.
Tell me, can the people you met cook well? Yes, she can cook. Then I ask each spouse to make me a loaf of bread.
Along the way, Thomas went to the hut he had discovered in the woods. wondering if a mouse could make bread. He immediately asked the little mouse if she could make bread.
Of course I can. Wait a little.
The little mouse rang a silver triangular bell. Then a few mice came to her. The little mouse asked them for the best wheat grain they could find. As Thomas watched in amazement, one of the mice brought the best wheat grain. The little mouse made a delicious bread from this wheat grain. Thomas thanked the little mouse and returned home immediately. Big brother Jack brought his father a rye bread and Thomas a fresh wheat bread.
Both of your breads look very good, but the freshest is the bread that Thomas brought. Tell me, Thomas, is your spouse a forest princess?
The farmer told his sons that it was time to meet their wives. Thomas went to the little mouse's house with great joy. The little mouse, in her best attire, rang the silver triangular bell. A beautiful car with a driver came right before her. The little mouse got into the car and they drove home with Thomas. As they were moving along the road, they came across a rickety bridge built over the river. The mouse driver did not notice a stone on the bridge, and it made the car bounce the mouse right into the river with her car.
Oh no, my love! My love! What am I going to do now?
Thomas wept on the bridge, and the tears fell into the deadly river waters below. A beautiful young lady appeared in front of him. She had silver hair and blue eyes. "Thomas, it's okay. Come with me or we'll be late."
What? How? You?
"Yes, Thomas, it's me, your love. I've been under an evil spell for a long time. If your tears hadn't mixed with the river water, I would have remained a mouse for the rest of my life. Thanks to your love for me, I am a princess again, Thomas." Thomas and the beautiful princess finally arrived at Thomas's house.
Thomas, my son, we are so glad you introduced us to such a lovely princess.
It turns out that Thomas's luck was not due to the tree he cut, but to the fact that he was kind to every animal and human being he saw. From that day on, Thomas and the beautiful princess, who was once a mouse, lived happily together for a lifetime.